Hello, this is kind of an improvised video. I didn't plan on doing this video quite yet. And it's unfortunate that I have to make this video. This doesn't have to do with the entertainment industry, nor does it have to do with anything in movies or video games, but it has to do more aligns with me. So I almost never brought up my dog. Um, my dog was put down today, and I was not there to comfort him. I was not there. And it's sad because. Hold on a second. Shut up, computer. I don't care. Shut up. Anywho, I didn't plan on making this video. As I said before, my dog, he's nearly 13. Alright, he was going to turn 13 next month. But for circumstances that happened, he could not get up the stairs from the backyard. And he just ended up staying there all night. And my mom gave the call and said, we need to put him down. If you have any final words, say them. And I did. I did. And I think everyone can relate to having to put down a favorite pet. I mean, I know there's people who haven't had a pet at all. But this dog was special to me, and I'll put a picture of him up on the screen. This was a dog that was the product of my dad's kindness, and my dad's kindness rarely spoke through. I mean, he was immature, he was young, and he rarely gave a fuck about anything. And the one thing he did right was to get a dog that would outlive him. And what's really important about my dog Max is that he reminded me of my dad. Even though he was on the road a lot, and he was a complete narcissistic asshat, he had it reminds me of some of the decency that some people have. No matter how obscene they get, no matter how offensive they get, there's always some sort of sliver of goodness, and Max was the product of it. And we spent 11 years together. And it's kind of sad that the last time I saw him was during Christmas. Was during Christmas vacation. That was about 6 months back. And when I saw him, he was in a head cone, because I don't know what he had surgery on his eyelid. There was like some sort of weird puffy thing that was growing on his eyelid, and it would repeatedly pop, and we didn't know what the hell it was. So he had eye surgery. And that's how I saw him. Even though he was in a cone, mind you, he was still happy to see me. I always loved coming home every day from school when I was in high school and seeing his happy face. He always smiled. He was always that one dog that smiles, and he was always a dog that no matter who came to the door, he would run to it, and no matter who was behind the door, he would sniff them and lick them and whatnot, get acquainted with them if he hasn't seen them before. Which could have made for a problem. I mean, if we had gotten robbed or something, he probably would have been the baby and just, laid down on the floor and expected a belly rub while they robbed our house. And I know this is kind of a weird video to put up, but for me personally, this helps me get through it, because what was it? Not like 2.5 hours ago. He was put out. He was put under. He died. And he's had a long life. He's had a very long life, and I mean, even though I only got him when he was 2 and he wasn't a puppy and I didn't have to train him, there were still some things we had to train him on, and I'm not gonna get too explicit with it, but he was kind of a good dog, and when we got him, he was pretty much in the worst state ever. He was in the worst state of his life. He was skin and bones, burnt feet. We had to give him ointment for, I think, a month or two to heal his paws. And we fattened him up, and unfortunately, when you try to fat up something, it always goes awry, and he turned out to be 50 pounds overweight. And over the last 10 years or so, we've been trying to have him lose weight. Didn't know he was going to lose weight pretty fast towards the end. But, as far as, what killed him, or not what killed him, but was hindering him, we believe it was some sort of joint thing, that his joints were just destroyed or something. I don't exactly know. I know my family members might know. But this is a kind of a bad time for me to, considering that I'm moving home next week. And I'm not going to see his face. I'm not going to see his happy smile. I'm never going to see him, toss around his ball in the air with his own mouth. He was kind of talented that way. Whenever we weren't paying attention to him, he would grab a ball, toss it in the air, and see if anyone would play. And most of the time, it was me that was playing. And, he was really fun. He was fun, goofy, obnoxious. Sometimes he was a pain in the ass, but he was a really good dog through and through. And even though I wasn't very nice to him when I was younger, I grew to love him more and more as a friend, as a colleague, and, as a family member, and I think everyone who came across him came the same way, And I know at this time, I should try to find some friends who are here in Eugene and just do something with them. And I just don't feel like at this time I can go out and, and do something with a group of people. I mean, I've always been an introvert when it comes to things like this. I've always, tried to figure things out on my own. That's just how I am. But, I don't expect a lot of people to watch this video. I really don't. But for those who do, keep in mind that for a while I might not make any videos. Because for one thing, I'm going to try to get over his death. I'm going to try to get over the fact that I'm not going to see him anymore. The only way that I could really try to keep him alive forever is if I put him in a film or put him in some artwork. And that's how I honestly feel about this situation. And then also we have to figure out what type of gravestone we should give Max. We've already decided that he was going to be cremated. He was going to be put into a box or some sort of urn. We're going to get, me, my sister, my mom, are going to get pendants like this that are filled with miniature ash from Max. This is my dad's ashes. And, again, he was a fine dog, and to not have him anymore is to lose the final connection really I have with my father. You know, and again, as I said before, he was an asshole. He was inconsiderate, and he was always on the road and never really cared much about us. But when he did do something nice like this to bring Max into our lives, it was one of the nicest things he's ever did. And then he died. But you know, we thought he was going to be alive until next week when I came home. But life had other things, Life's a bitch. Life's a total cunt. And I don't like saying these words, but it's just true. Life is a cunt, a bitch, a whore, or whatever. Because, life plays its cards unfairly. Life just totally plays its cards unfairly. But sometimes, you gotta kind of be like Kenny Rogers. Well, not really like Kenny Rogers, don't be a country star. I mean, whatever. But it's like what he said in the Gambler song. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run, but then how do you know when to do those things if life is just so unexpected? Because life could just pull out a full house or a flush or a royal flush and just beat your hand all the time. Life's a cheater. Death is worse. And I never expected I expected him to die sometime this year, but this early, before I have to go back, I might just take about a week off of YouTube, And I know for some who are looking forward to my review for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, that might have to wait. Who knows? I might be in the right mind when I go see the film this Saturday or this Friday, but who knows if I'll do the actual video review for it. He was a good friend. He was a loyal dog. And me, as well as everyone he's ever had contact with, is missing him. I've been approached by my mom to see if I could go to the family reunion when I get back. And I just don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I really want to go to a family reunion when I should be, remembering his loss while also trying to do write the rest of my film, which should be finished pretty soon. Finish writing at least, and then trying to set up everything. I don't know. What would you do in this situation, If you were in the same shoes as me, what would you do? And I know some of you are going to say, hey, you should totally talk with your parents. You should totally talk with your family members. Go to the family reunion. And then others would say, hey, you can stay home. It's all right. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do because he was the only thing that I always looked forward to when I come back, when I go back to my hometown. He was always a highlight. And now that he's gone, I don't think I have much of highlights anymore. There's not a lot that I could say that I'm genuinely excited about when I get back home. There's nothing. I don't have my dog, who's been my right hand, who's been my R2 to my C3PO, who's been my jelly to my peanut butter. You know, this is a dog that completed me, and now that he's gone, as well as my dad and the things that he brought with him, that's gone forever. And I'm truly going to miss him. He was the dog that gave partially my muse for art, for most of anything. You know, my dog is and always will be my dog, regardless of what my sister says about him. You know, my sister, she says, well, that's my dog, too. Well, yeah. Well, then who did he protect most? Me? Yeah, me more. And you want to know what's funny is that after the dog died, she wants to get a python. Of all things, she wants to get a python. Seriously, you're gonna downgrade from a lovable dog who is a relatable breed through many different cultures to a snake that could kill you. Makes perfect sense to me. It's like you have a gerbil and then you downgrade to a Black Widow spider. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But, that's just me. I really shouldn't be yelling because we have this weird little quiet hours thing that's 24 hours and you can't make huge disruptions. But, yeah. Until next time, peace.